keep it at his hip or overhooked around his ankle. It doesn't really matter. The motion though is that as I swing, I'm gonna bring my other leg all the way around. Okay? So if I'm just holding, 90 degrees is fine. But for the true off balance, I have to go full 180 degrees. This builds up a lot of potential energy in my right leg because I have momentum, and as I swing, I lift my hips into the air. Okay, so this is building that potential energy for me to unleash it as I drop down and drive him forward. Now this isn't a sweep, it's an off balance. I'm not trying to sweep him necessarily. I'm just trying to get weight off his feet, force his hands to be posted on the mat or into another area that's not on me, so he's not able to attack me or set up grips himself. So anytime there's a lull in the action, or maybe he's just trying to think about the position, like, oh, what am I going to do next? That's when you're trying to look for an off balance. The second he stops moving and you have a chance to counterattack. I swing and spin. So I moved almost 180 degrees, swing my leg up, and as I swing it down, I just create enough force to make him post. It's fine if he totally just recomposes and faces me again. That's fine, because it's just a reset. So this is in a situation, maybe he's trying to do some sort of guard pass, move kind of slow, meanwhile as he tries to pass. I feel him setting up a pass. I move to my position, I off balance, he's forced to recover and go back to a neutral position here. So I've successfully stopped his attack with an attack of my own. Okay, so again, it's foot underneath. I'm bringing my head towards his leg to the same side of the foot post, underhooking and swinging. As I swing my leg up, I swing it back down, and I give this leg just a good little kick. Not just extension, but also a little bit of hamstring pull. So I'm kind of pulling my ankle down. That's what's going to drive him forward, forcing a reset or a setup into another sweep, which we're going to get into now. All right, now we're going to get into some of the actual attacks, not just the controlling movements. This one is going to be a X-guard sweep. Now, the reason I'm showing you sweeps from these non-fully locked-in lapel positions is a lot of the time it can be very difficult to set up a lapel guard against someone who knows you want to set up worm guard, squid guard, gubber guard, etc. So it's very important to be comfortable in the intermediary positions and have offensive options, because it forces your opponent to have to worry about other things rather than just keeping their legs away from you or going to their knees to avoid the lapel positions. Because if I'm going to roll against Miha and I say, Miha, I'm only going to set up squid guard on you,
I'm going to get messed up with squid guard still.
He's going to get crushed with squid guard. No, but if it's a situation where both skills are equal, no offense, Miha, where both skills are equal, it's going to be a difficult time where you're attempting to do something and they're just attempting to shut down that one thing. So you have to have alternative attacks, not necessarily just to sweep with the alternative attacks or submit with the alternative attacks, but to take their mind off of the your original goal, which is to get squid guard in this situation, or this analogy. So we're going to be learning how to set up some conventional fundamental sweeps in jiu-jitsu, such as the X guard, single leg X, some crab ride, and some, what's that, the last one? The meow hook. What's that called?
Not the guy.
The calf slice sweep. What is that called? I don't know what that's called. When I explain it, we'll come up with a name for it. There's a very common position, but I don't think it has a real name. So, yes, we're trying to broaden our horizons, not be too tunnel visioned on the lapel guard itself, and making sure that we have an overall understanding of the lapel guards from all the positions, even the less secure ones. Okay? And these are actually positions that I originally started playing because I didn't even know that there was other options, such as the tighter worm guard grips. So you're going to have a really awesome lapel open guard before you get into the really awesome lapel closed guard. Closed guard meaning it's a closed circuit. You've locked them in with the grip itself and they don't have an option to run around anymore. So these are the open guard lapel guards and some attacks you can do from there. The first one being a X guard sweep from the spider push. So we managed to open his lapel. You could have done that in any number of ways, whether it's the tiger claw, the foot kick, whatever option you wanted to take, and we now have the lapel. I'm going to go to my spider push position, which is here, and walking the lapel over my foot and shin. Okay? Now I'm going to reach either to the sleeve, collar, or pants. If you're having difficulty reaching the pants, one thing you can do, let's turn this way a little bit. One thing you can do is use your instep of your foot behind his thigh and try and pull yourself to him at the same time you're trying to pull his foot to you. So either he's going to move or I'm going to move. If he's stronger than me, I'm going to move. If I'm stronger than him, his foot's going to move. So be stronger than me, Mija. As I pull, it's going to pull myself. Now I'm going to be stronger than you, and as I pull, it's going to pull it to me. So whether you meet halfway or you go or he goes, you're going to end up with the foot. So this is a good option to reach the foot, and probably the most common way that I like to set up these positions is with the foot grip. Then I plant my foot. I'm going to go to the outside in this case, and I'm going to take a big outward push and step here. I have the lapel and I have the pants here. I'm going to bring my hand underneath his leg and turn myself into an X guard position. So I'm freeing my hand from his pants. I had his pants grip. My left leg is kind of controlling around his ankle with my thigh, and I bring my left arm here underneath to an underhook. At the same time, I'm bringing my knee through first. You always bring your knee through first in the X guard here so that you create a control with your foot around his leg first before we get to the full position. If you try and weave your foot through like this, it can be awkward, and it's also very easy for him to just back step here because I didn't have control of his leg. So important detail when you're setting up X guards is to slide with your knee in first, like this, then start to look for your X guard position once you have a little bit more secureness on his leg. Okay? Once I have him off balance and I have my underhook and I have my first X guard hook in, it's okay to let go of the lapel guard because we are trying to be threatening from these positions. You can always get the lapel guard back. The X guard is one of those positions where it's not really a guard, it's more of a sweep already. So you're already in an advantageous sweeping position. You don't really have to worry about defense at this point. If you do the technique properly, he should be 100% worried about defense. You should be 100% worried about offense. So once I'm here, I'm going to start setting up my X guard and not worrying about the lapel, except I'm going to pass it to my other hand. So I like to keep the lapels engaged just as a backup measure. If he does manage to escape or my sweep fails, I like to keep a lapel in hand, so if everything goes to shit, I can go back to my intermediary lapel positions if I need to. But once I pass to the grip to my left hand, I'm going to start extending him away and pulling his knee to my chest. So I bring both hands